Tonight, 3 Whyalla teenagers charged alleged of fooling a woman and stealing her car, and Port Lincoln Hospital equipped with specialised chemotherapy chairs, saving patients from having to travel to Adelaide for treatment.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening. Police are issuing warnings to South Australians to be careful who they let into their house following a break-in at Whyalla Stuart on Monday. 3 teenagers have been arrested and charged for allegedly stealing a handbag and a car after the victim let them inside to use the bathroom. Sophia Contagonis has the story.
What started as an innocent act here on Nicholson Avenue turned into something much more sinister. Around 5:30 Monday evening, 3 girls knocked on a house along this street where it's alleged they asked the occupant if they could use the bathroom.
While inside the house and without the occupant's knowledge, the youths stole the lady's handbag containing her purse and keys to her car.
It's alleged they returned in the dark of the night to steal her car. Authorities prompted to put out a warning to be aware of stranger danger.
We would encourage the community to be very vigilant in relation to people that might come to the door offering deals that sound too good to be true. So if you do come across someone and you're not quite sure, it's better to be safe than sorry.
Police located the 3 in Hinks Avenue yesterday afternoon where they were arrested. The stolen car was also found soon after, abandoned in a laneway off of Gallagher Street.
A 15-year-old girl from Whyalla was charged with 2 counts of theft, aggravated serious criminal trespass, breach of bail and illegal use of a motor vehicle. She was subsequently refused bail.
The 2 other Whyalla Stuart girls, aged 14 and 11, were charged with aggravated serious criminal trespass and theft. They'll return to the Whyalla Youth Court in August. Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
2 Whyalla Stuart men have been charged after highway patrols allegedly found illegal drugs in their vehicle on the Augusta Highway yesterday afternoon. Police stopped the car just after 2 o'clock, where the 30-year-old driver underwent a drug test, testing positive to cannabis and methamphetamine. Police allege 2.5 kilograms of cannabis was found in the vehicle. Both the driver and his 38-year-old passenger were charged with trafficking a large quantity of cannabis. New life-saving equipment has been delivered to some of our regional hospitals as part of new funding from the Hospital Research Foundation. More than $300,000 has been handed out across South Australia to boost regional health outcomes, including $50,000 for Port Lincoln.
For breast cancer survivor Rosalind Bascom, the hospital has become a second home.
With the chemotherapy I was having every week in Adelaide, of course that was coincided with all the COVID things starting up.
It was a stressful time made even worse by being away from home. Thankfully, she's now on the mend, receiving immunosuppressants to help strengthen her immune system here at Port Lincoln Hospital.
Yeah, I think it's much better. You know, that you can have visitors, you can have friends come.
In a huge coup for regional patients, several hospitals have received new equipment to boost regional healthcare. Port Lincoln getting the lion's share with new exercise bikes, a wheelchair powerback and a transducer probe for emergency heart scans. But the jewel in the crown, 4 new chemotherapy chairs.
We had some older chairs which weren't particularly comfortable, so these new chairs will be providing a greater level of comfort for patients having longer infusions.
Wallaroo also getting a swag of new toys with a new ultrasound unit. Port Pirie Hospital receiving an infusion pump. The healthcare equipment part of $300,000 from the Hospital Research Foundation.
It's very important from our perspective that everyone in South Australia gets the treatment that they need in the public hospital system.
New telehealth services have also got the green light to go ahead with new cameras and iPads. Doctors able to connect with patients remotely, reducing the need for travel. The local health network is also on track to receive medium risk accreditation, which would help treat patients in the region.
We can provide what they call medium complexity chemotherapy. So it just means a higher level of drug.
Medical staff say this new equipment will meet the immediate need for regional patients, helping them access the latest healthcare at their local hospital.
They're really built up here.
Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, a new food relief program kicks off in Port Lincoln, supporting our most vulnerable, and preparations underway for the National Celebration of Trees. Welcome back. A mobile food hub has rolled into Port Lincoln today to help reduce hunger in regional South Australia. The custom-built truck has been fitted out with warm clothes and everyday grocery items.
For pensioner Shirley Gibson, the daily grocery shop can be an arduous task. On a tight budget, it can be hard to get everything she needs, but a new grocery store on wheels is set to make the shop a little bit easier.
Very impressed, and I didn't know what to expect. I was only told about it yesterday.
A mobile food hub setting up in Port Lincoln streets today as part of a new project to fight hunger in regional South Australia by providing free food.
We're well aware that the regional areas of South Australia are 33% more food insecure than they are in metropolitan Adelaide.
The custom-built truck fitted out with shelving, fridges and freezers, stocked to the brim with all the necessities, from canned goods to tomato sauce, cat food and of course a bit of chocolate for the sweet tooths.
Mince, sausages, some soft drink that the girls will love, of course. I don't drink it, but they will.
As well as feeding herself, Shirley is also a part-time foster carer for 3 girls aged 8 to 10. The new grocery store helping ease the financial pressure.
Just helps me along the way. So we say that you get about 5 times your dollar value here than you would if you went to a recommended supermarket.
The truck is in partnership with relief agency Food Bank and the RAA, visiting Kadina, Waikerie, Loxton, Renmark, Berry and as of next week Clare. But shoppers need to be referred by a support agency to access it.
They're able to give them a voucher that they can come along and do their shopping here. All the fruit and veg is free, all the bread's free, and then all the groceries are just sold at a handling fee. This is all new and very impressive.
The mobile food hub will visit Port Lincoln once a fortnight on Thursdays. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Children will soon not be allowed to enrol in or attend early childhood services unless they're up to date with their immunisations. The South Australian Government implementing the legislation which starts next Friday. This applies to childcare, family daycare, preschool, kindergarten and early learning centres. Exemptions may be granted for medical reasons. More information is listed on the SA Health website. Whyalla City Council is gearing up for National Tree Day this weekend, celebrating with a free plant giveaway. 1,000 native shrubs will be given out at the Ada Ryan Gardens, encouraging locals to get involved with caring for the environment.
Free plants, who could say no? The Whyalla City Council encouraging locals to support the initiative, making Whyalla a more environment-friendly place.
This is the 3rd year that we're going to have National Tree Day here in Whyalla, but the location's changing this year.
Previously held in the Whyalla Public Library car park, there's a venue shift this year. Locals will need to walk to the rear gate of the Ada Ryan Gardens nursery compound. The event, COVID-safe approved, with locals needing to line up in a socially distanced manner and use the provided hand sanitizer.
And for the 3rd year in a row, we're actually going to be giving away 1,000 native plants to the community of Whyalla.
The native shrubs, all sourced from the Arid Lands Botanic Gardens in Port Augusta. Council staff helping on the day, providing valuable information about the plants and where best to place them in the garden.
If they have a specific requirement for the plants, they can ask and we'll help them out to get the right plant for their location.
The giving away of plants, it helps the community get involved, to beautify their gardens and to increase the habitat in the city of Whyalla.
Community groups and schools across the city also getting involved.
We did boxes of 10 plants and we gave those plants to the schools, we delivered them.
The mystery boxes receiving positive feedback, a popular project throughout the community.
We were really happy to see the response that we received from the local schools and kindies and other community groups.
The plant stall will be open from 9 to 12 this Saturday. It's first in, best dressed. Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. A highly anticipated movie shot in the region to be released in Broken Hill this weekend. And St Mark's students pass testing with flying colours. Hello again. A movie shot around Broken Hill will have a local premiere on the big screen at the city's cinema. Outback has been described as a survival nightmare thriller, with viewers expected to be on the edge of their seats.
The desolate landscape of Broken Hill back on the silver screen.
Outback.
Labelled a tense drama thriller, Outback was shot around the Mount Gibbs station back in 2017. 3 years later, it's finally getting released, with locals invited to the Silver City Cinema to check it out.
There's definitely some scary bits. There's definitely a lot of dread of that foreboding, oh no, these people are in trouble and they're unaware.
The film follows a young American couple and their holiday to Australia. After their plans to drive up the coast don't work out, they decide to go inland, underestimating the vastness of the outback. They soon get into trouble.
We went to Melbourne for the premiere and it was unreal with all the sound effects and everything in it. It just changed the whole thing. It gets you sitting on the edge of your seat.
Outback was written in 4 weeks and shot in 10 days. The writer-director loving working in the region.
There's so much out there and, you know, it's not just all the same. There's different areas and different landscapes.
Outback is showing at the Silver City Cinema this Saturday night at 8 o'clock. Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Port Perry's St Mark's Year 12 students have smashed the statewide average in their research project results. Students are welcoming the news as they tackle the final leg of their final year.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel for Port Perry students who are now a step closer to receiving their SACE. 7 St Mark's students have been awarded the highest scores for this year's research project.
I was really excited and it was a bit of a relief because I knew I had done everything I could do to make it good, so I was just happy to see that result.
Around 51% of students receiving a top score, smashing the statewide average of under 40%.
A whole range of skills that are going to suit them for the future. So I'm very, very proud of what's happened.
Students were to select a topic and write a detailed thesis.
It was definitely scary starting it because it's very big, like in comparison to all the other assignments we've ever done.
Topics ranged in subjects, with many on important and timely issues.
Have programs and policies being developed by the government to help support getting Aboriginals and Torres Strait Islanders into sport in Australia?
Aged care facilities caring for the mental health of their residents.
Results in their reports also varied depending on what they uncovered.
Try to get more people participating, which was a surprise because I thought it might have been maybe a little bit on the other side, but no, it was good.
This year has presented many new challenges for students with coronavirus restrictions in place.
It's been a bit stressful with all the uncertainty around how long we would be at school and if some of our assignments would get taken out of the course to make it a bit easier.
For now, it's full steam ahead with students set to graduate in 3 months' time.
It hasn't been as bad as what I would have thought it would have been considering everything that's going on, but yeah, the teachers are really supportive.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
2 of Broken Hill's sporting venues will be brought into the light, paving the way for games to be played after dark. The Alma and Norm Fox Ovals will receive new light towers thanks to federal government funding.
Let there be light.
For them to be able to come out in the twilight or the evenings or later in the evenings, it's going to be a great plus for our whole community.
Broken Hill City Council has been given $1 million in federal funding to lighten up both the Alma Oval and Norm Fox Sport Complex. The money covering the whole project from turning soil to turning on. At the Alma, the home of the South Football Club, the side will now be able to train under lights.
It just helps us out with training, we can spread our training out now, not dodging between one half of the ground with lights, so reserves, A-grade and women can possibly even train on the same nights now.
For the city's cricketers, it's a chance to play more night matches. Many rounds across the local seasons are cancelled due to extreme heat.
Gives us a number of options to play our cricket, and of course with the women's comp coming in last year, we're limited for venues, but it gives us a lot more options in playing multiple games.
Lights at the Alma could also see Auskick and under-18s matches taken off the Jubilee Oval, giving the surface less activity during a season.
Shifting some of those games across to the Alma Oval would really take the pressure off the Dube as well.
With council planning to upgrade the Norm Fox complex, the Light Tower funding helps shore up the project's viability.
The next step, of course, is to finalise all the paperwork with the federal government. Once all that's in place, we will look for tender and we'll be using local contractors.
Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us. After the break, we'll have this week's fish and tips and the weather with Brit. Hello again. If you're planning to head out fishing in the next few days, here's some tips from the experts about where they're biting.
Welcome another week around the Gulf Fishing Tips. I tell you what, I'm still so excited about this fishing over this last couple of months. We're just amazingly, everything's just going off. What we're going to talk about this day is to turn around and start fishing in the afternoon. And we've got some hints for you. If you go to Woods Point, just out of Port Davis, and halfway around, you should be able to find yourself a good number of squid and King George whiting. I've also been told that if you're in front of Roona Island in the weed bed there, you should be able to catch yourself a nice catch of squid as well. That's all we've got this week. We'll see you next week.
G'day and welcome to this week's fishing tips from Port Augusta, Jewel the North. Well, it's a few kingfish spotting up. On these really calm days, you'll get to see the schools. There was one up around the top of the Gulf, just past the train bridge up there, and also down and around the old outlet channel at the powerhouse. Lots and lots of squid everywhere. That's probably your best bait for those kingfish as well. Salmon trout up around Port Patterson through to Chinaman's Creek. You also bet they'll be in the oyster run as well. King George whiting started to move a little bit further north, up around the number 9 bank and also around Patterson. The odd flathead for the people trying to catch some King George whiting out in the middle banks, and lots of Tommy Ruffs along the front of the shacks. That's all we have from the Jewel of the North.
And to see if it's good weather for it, here's Brit with the forecast.
Thanks, Louise, and good evening. After a good dose of morning fog, we saw mostly sunny conditions today, with maximum temperatures 1 to 2 degrees below average. It reached just 11 degrees in Adelaide today, a little warmer around our parts, with Whyalla and Clare recording tops of 15. 16 degrees was the high at Port Lincoln, Kadina, Cleve and Coffin Bay. Broken Hill reached 17, Port Pirie 18, and Woodna and Port Augusta shared the region's top of 19 degrees. From the satellite, we can see patchy low cloud moving over the coast, but no rain activity. Elsewhere, clear skies under a broad high. Now that was Thursday. Let's take a look at Friday, with variable winds on the Gulf waters at around 5 to 10 knots, seas below half a metre with south to southwesterly swells. A mostly sunny day forecast for Port Lincoln, looking at a high of 18 degrees. Cleve sunny and 20, Woodna sunny with a top of 22. Early fog and frost at Whyalla, clearing to a sunny day, 20 the high. Similar conditions for Port Augusta tomorrow, fog and frost but sunny later on with a top of 21 degrees. Kadina sunny and 17. Morning fog and frost about at Port Pirie tomorrow, but warming up to a sunny 19 degrees in the afternoon. Clare and Broken Hill both sunny and 17. To the weekend now, fine and partly cloudy across much of the region on Saturday. Sunny about the Flinders and Broken Hill forecast districts. Port Augusta and Woodna both with tops of 23 degrees. Whyalla 21. Broken Hill, Port Pirie and Kadina 19. Port Lincoln 18. Sunday looking sunny over Broken Hill and fine and partly cloudy about the rest of the Spencer Gulf region. A top of 21 degrees at Port Augusta. Broken Hill and Woodna both expected to reach 20 degrees. Whyalla and Port Pirie both 19. Kadina 17. Port Lincoln with a top of 15. And finally now, a quick look ahead to Monday. Partly cloudy over most of the region, with a little more cloud about the York Peninsula and showers forecast about the Lower Eyre Peninsula. 20 the high for Broken Hill, Port Augusta 19, Woodna and Port Pirie both 17, Whyalla 16, Kadina 15 and Port Lincoln with a high of 14 degrees. And Louise, that's the weather forecast, and that's all from me. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Brit. And that wraps up your local news for tonight. We'll be on at 6:30 again tomorrow night. We'll see you later with updates. Good night.